Tell you about my dream first. Well, I was just having a dream, and in it I'd caught this spider, which is probably this spider. She's sitting there as well, actually, back in the rock. And my mum had decided she'd let it go because it shouldn't be kept or something. Just let it go in the garden. I went fucking mental. And in the dream, it was a legacy spider. It was jumping. It was jumping all over the place. It kept jumping at me, which it does anyway. And I had this torch, and I ended up throwing it at her because I was looking for the spider at the time to try and catch it again. And I threw it in a massive, and the spider was chasing me around in the dream. But that kind of ties in with a dream I had about the other night as well, which I'd helped her decorate her room in the colour she wanted to do it, and then she'd moved, for some reason, the paint into the room that I was supposed to be in, but it looked really bad in that room because the plaster was wrong or something. It showed up all the things in the plaster. So it was this torch, and I threw it out, and it just pinged everywhere, and I woke up. But I'll tell you what I was thinking about yesterday, this little git, whatever the sort of spider it is, because it's sitting on this rock. Oh, it's not actually, it's just a shadow. But I wondered if it was working out, because the lid, the plug in it, is the same colour as the rock, and I wonder it's probably worked out the trajectory of, like, how to jump out that fucking hole. Excuse my French. Because it was on there yesterday and it was tapping its foot. It's like, it's trying to communicate, isn't it? It's like, what's it tapping its foot for? It's like, it was like it was waiting for something. It was telling me it wanted feeding or something. So I tapped my finger, I made my hand into a big spider, and I tapped one back. So, and then it was crawling around up the back, probably out of a hole or something. Trying to work. I've not seen it crawling up before. It's a ground spider normally, but I was having a poke around anyway. I don't mind if it stays down. If it starts crawling up, it will when its feet gets more sticky. What am I going to do with it? Well, I don't know. I don't know what it is yet. It's probably just a fennel bug or something. I don't know what it is. Not overreact, probably. Not make a massive scene out of it. Work out how to make a tighter fitting lid. And, you know. It's good enough food for now, anyway. And I work out how to what? It will jump out that damn hole. It's a little arsehole. It's working out the plan. Anyway, I'll tell you what I was thinking. Oh my god, those, what are they called? The aphids from yesterday. The ones have gone from I could imagine him down the road going, the whole lot needs to go, it's diseased, the whole place is diseased, pull it all down, it all needs to go. Which is probably true, but you remember I had those aphids in the back garden the other day on the roses? They all seem to have gone completely. Oh, maybe not completely, actually. No, or maybe there's one on there. Two, but there's not many, is there? On the rose. And they always go for roses. So there's none on there at all. What is this? Is this an elm? Or an alder? And there's none on this rose over here. It's just a curiosity because there's so many. And I didn't on purpose chop them and put them in that bin. It wasn't until I started chopping it into the bin that I saw that there was bugs on it. I don't know what else to do with it by that point either. And in the olden days, you would have dried it. I couldn't burn it, could I? Because, well, first of all, it's green. And, you know what? There's a snail in my sodding rose jar. What are you doing? Look at this slow walking Gerald. He's not even slow walking. He's the size of a horse nut. Throw him to a, look at him. That's a great big egg one, isn't it? Throw it to the seagulls. They might want that one. That's a warning. What's that for? Well, I was reading yesterday because I was watching the Swiss or the Swallows. They they look to have little squat tails. They might have been house mice. Not likely, they say. But they collect mud off the ground, don't they? So I thought I'd put some up there as a welcome sign. And I was thinking of places they might be able to build a nest. Nowhere around here. I got bitten to Garth by midges yesterday as well. I felt like it anyway. What do they eat? Aphids? And yeah, there's none on here either. There don't seem to be any. Look. None. Yet. At the moment. It's just, we're on orbs, aren't we? Hey, there's a little dragonfly. I don't know what sort though. He's just crawled out and hatched, I think. That's pretty cool. And then I was just thinking about the pot rose out the front that's underneath the hedge. That's literally old. It's been there as long as basically since, I don't know if it was Heather's, her baby. Or maybe no, I got a pot of roses when they were born, maybe. A yellow one that went in the ground then. It might have been one that came, I can't remember. It's only long anyway. And I was thinking it's supposed to be small, so I cut it. Because it had aphids on, didn't it? And treated like, I said to it, you're a baby. It acts like a baby. And I don't know why I just said it. So what do you do with babies? You powder their bottoms, soap and powder and feed them, put them to sleep. I was like, you're too young to have flowers, so I cut some of the flowers off it. And then thinking about that, so I don't know, because that was in the thing, I had some baby powder, so I put some powder around its bottom. And I did it to the ones at the back as well, but I just did it on a whim. But I'm just thinking about that. What do you do with them? Just feed them, don't you? Feed them and put them to sleep. Keep changing them. And plums. What do you do with plums? Talc. Soap and talc. I don't know. And food? I don't think so. Shave them. Rub them with a flannel. I don't really know. A load of old flannel, probably. So that's it. That's it, really. I was just thinking about why they're out front. So many of them. I just went out to check, and there's a load of them. Look, you want to have a look? There's those little spiders everywhere building little webs, and tiny ones. So, they're on the case. But I did have one ladybird in the back garden the other day. So they're clearly coming. It was on this, where was it? Because I remember seeing it thinking, there's a ladybird, that's lucky. And then one came out the front as well, and those eggs had been laid. So they're clearly predetermining the, holocaust of green fly. That's enough. Paxroy is okay, it's growing. Those borers slightly battered. Snails around here on some sweet peas. What do I do with him? I cheered and said, thanks a lot for that, mate. He needs cropping anyway. It's this old one. Look. I covered up the jack beans last night. I had a feeling, do aphids go for them? Something anyway. So I covered them up last night. Is he walking around? Why did I hang this thing of old... Oh, do you know what? I'll tell you why. Because I was thinking about flies yesterday. Somebody said about how to keep flies out of the house. So I put what I've done, this is why I've got midges, is I hung some old fruit up in that old bird feeder up this end. And a tiny bit of... In that yoghurt pot, there's a couple of stones and a tiny bit of, like, dinner. out of the other day for the stew, basically. Only a tiny hot, not like a teaspoon, probably. That's why I've got midges. The swallows can eat them, can't they? There was all these, oh God, stupid worms in the compost bin. Not normal worms, like these little crawling things. There was a few the other day and they're all over the lid. So I've no idea what they were, if they come out of that seed worm or whatever it was that came out of the hops plant the other day. So I just rinsed the whole lid in the pond and let the fish go eat those. Citric acid, I rinsed everything with, didn't I, the other day? It was in the washing water. Soap, citric acid, and a bit of apple cider vinegar, which I did all the paths and pots with. I don't know if any of those are off-putting, but I was thinking about tying a yellow ribbon as well. Yellow would be something like Dettol, wouldn't it? Also, like my Zoflora fell out the cupboard yesterday. Which may go in with things like fairy, because purple salt's mess, and I'd sort of had a wipe around with that because it puts mice don't like it if you don't use too much. They get used to it, I think, don't they? So and also soaked a bit of old, the corner of what's it called? Well, I'd cut up a new dishcloth and soaked the corner in that and hung it up in the back room. And the mice didn't seem to be around. It was just a test, then wiped over the draining board and did the washing up last night, wiped over just with a tiny bit. Because they'd been leaving little darts around it the night before. So I had a wipe there. There's none this morning. And I didn't really see the mice last night. I heard them just before I went to bed under the dog's bed. But, so currently, that's that bit of excitement. What sort of dragonfly is that? I don't know. A small one there. That's a larva that just crawled out. It's got no wings. I don't know what the heck yonk it is then. Wait and see, it'll be flying around there like a what? The early bird's breakfast. Send it out the front. It'll find its own way. It'll be guided by scent, won't it? It's after the midges. I don't know if it is an elm tree. Fuming. A midge on it. But not lots. Not many. You want to have a look at the front ones again? And those cute little spiders. It was just tapping one foot, like one. It wasn't doing two. It wasn't. I think it's trying to work me out though. It was looking at me when it was doing it. I don't know what it was doing. It was ordering food. It said, "I'm sitting on the rock. Give me something like last time." And then it was going to jump out when I opened the hole. It's a little. It's a little wallaby. It's a wallaby spider. I don't know what it is. It's funny though at the moment. Then I had to not pick the time of day because it's. You know what? It's reading my mind for a moment. It's trying to work out the routine. It's like when dogs train you, isn't it? Oh God, the dog got off the lead yesterday as well when I came back from the garbage centre. She just pulled out the collar and then stood in the middle of the pavement. Just as some bloke was walking past with his pram. It's like, trust me to have a dog that pulls off the lead and starts playing up when there's an audience. Why would that happen? It's never happened before. So I just came in and just started shouting about biscuits. Hoped for the best. Dumped all my shopping and grabbed a piece of cheese, by which time she'd come back in, which is like, do you know what? Thank God for that. She didn't go in the road. She came, I don't think. Why don't I have a tight collar on her? Well, partly, it's fun, isn't it? Because partly it's the Saluki thing in her. They don't really like being on the lead anyway. And I said, I left her with somebody who I knew when I went to Tesco's ages ago. This is when I first knew she could pull out of the collar. Hey, there's another one of them little spiders on the rose. It's tiny and it's sort of green. So they're a new helpful friend, aren't they? And she literally pulled out the collar before it even got in the shop and was standing 50 yards down the road, just in the road looking. And it's kind of useful if, to a point, if somebody tries to rob your dog. Well, except they probably know and they'll just put something tight around it and then bite them probably. That she can just pull out the collar. And she always comes back. I'm looking at this as well, how much more to style it and to shape. I was looking at shaping it nicely. Look at the bugs first. Well, a lot of them seem to have gone. There's still quite a lot around. There's another little spider's built a web here in this bit of grass. They're all sort of beavering around still, isn't it? I definitely need to cover it in soap. Well, I've got to work out what to do with it first. I'm going to feed this again. I did feed them the other day. What with? Just pond water. I usually use that as a sort of... And I was thinking last night I might get a bit of comfrey and just chop it up and sprinkle it around. You're supposed to let it seep for a bit because it's quite strong. And I have to put a bit of banana skin around it as well. But see what happens, to be honest. Where's the little spider? I can't see it now. I probably just pulled it off. I saw him in the tree. There's a little snail. I saw one of them cute little yellow snails over here as well yesterday when I was out here. There's marsh ones. I just thought that spider would like a blue light. They don't. It depends what they're doing, doesn't it? They like them mixed around. It could just see the green against the blue. The green fly seems to like, well, they seem to like all the bins actually, look. Oh, that's why I've got to keep them in the garden. Is that a spider? Is it, yeah, there's a spider, isn't it? No, it's a green fly hanging on a spider web. There's a spider. There's a weird caterpillar. What's this? There's a load of little moths in the garden last night as well, so that was, in the bathroom. That's brilliant. They're probably after my jumper. Would you put on midge bite? I think apple cider vinegar good for those as well. I remember getting midge attacked before, and I just covered myself in vinegar when I was at work. What happened to the poor chopworm? I don't know. I was thinking maybe it was a nasty thing. Maybe I needed to chop it. There's no such thing as a nasty bug, I suppose. They're just indicators. They are indicators, aren't they? Thank God my tomatoes aren't bigger. Thank God I've got this, so the ladybirds get a chance to, This is just the beginning. It's only May. Oh, Christ. Put a bigger hat on this. They'll all come out though, won't they? That's what these sticks are for, isn't it? Let's have a think about it. Barley straw. Keep them nice and warm. Maybe. There's not on this one either. On this rose. That I've left drying out in this old hanging basket. You're supposed to put powder down around its bottom or all over its face, it won't be able to breathe. Well, I was just, I was working in a hurry. So what I think about doing this? Well, what I was thinking was like taking this bit off and then taking that bit off and taking this bit off, so they all sort of go like that then. And it's kind of a shape, isn't it? But because I've got rid of these and then probably taking this one out completely. I don't know. To grow the, say, honeysuckle or whatever up it. So, it'll just sort of use it like a natural trellis and crawl up it a bit. I don't know. I've not decided whether to put the honeysuckle, because that's the problem I had last year when I bought them, which one to put out the front. So they're all out the back still. I couldn't decide how to do it. I like honeysuckle. It's really nice out here, to be honest. So there. I sprinkled all that green manure stuff around here yesterday. The bugs are like that as well, aren't they? And it's a green manure. I think you're supposed to dig it in after it's grown, but I've just chucked it about. I'll tell you what as well, I remember last year I got that little, I can't remember what it's called, a pot of something, probably similar to that. And when I bought it, it had a little purple daisy flower on it. And the bloke who sold it to me said, oh, you're supposed to plant this, I think he said around carrots, because the carrot flies hate it. So I don't know if other bugs hate it as well. I forgot what it's called, but mine all seem to have, I haven't got any left. There was a bit I shoved in here. It was just a little small thing when I got it. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You poor sad thing. I don't want to take this down because the birds like it. They like this, and the hedge sparrows and things like that. And they've started coming to sit in it. So even if it dies off, and I just use it to grow a honeysuckle through, that also attracts the bugs. But birds, we can hear them chirping out the back, can't we? That's a blackbird. I haven't been bitten to go off languages. No, I remember my stepdad, when they were first going back to Scotland, because he's Scottish anyway. This was 100 years ago, when I was still a teenager. And they came back one time, and they'd been camping by some pot river. And he'd been bitten on the arse by a midge. And it was massive, he got a massive abscess. And it was a great to do. And we learned about Scottish midges then and what little gits they are. How did you deal with that? Well, he stuck a piece of bread on his bottom. I don't know if it was bread and milk, I can't remember. Made a poultice, bread poultice, hot water or something. I can't remember. A bit of old bread. Stuck a bit of old bread in his arse. That was the end of the story. He's still fine now. He's still a fine being. He's still pottering around. He's 162. He used to have to wash his plates after they'd been washed and washing up liquid because he swore it was covered in TCP or whatever it is that they used to kill off all the birds before. Even if we used organic washing up liquid. So blame him if you want to blame anyone. What was his job? He used to be a fashion designer in London in the 60s. And then he was a woodworker. He was a craftsperson. He put beams and things in slowly, and built boats, things like that. Potted around doing things. 29 minutes. Plants. I'll come back to that later on probably. Something more exciting happened. I just want to talk like the curiosity of the current state of the green fly out the back. My ponderations on it. I'd like to be involved in research. Well, I guess. I guess we'll see. Let's see if this other... We had this other thing around here, didn't we? That cocoon thing. Chrysalis. I wonder if that's formed out. No, it's still... It's there. It's still there. I'd like to see that. Look, that blackbird's watching. He wants to go and eat it. Don't eat it. You want to see what it is first. I need to take it and put it in a jar so we can watch it hatch. Don't disturb it. Flick it into a pot. Or you'll miss it. It'll probably come at night. I'll do that actually. Desperate to know what it is. Desperate. Leave it. Oh God, I don't know what to do. I don't know. The jackdaws were looking at that yesterday saying, what the hell should she put out now? I'm going to throw this big old egg snail as well, just in case. I feel like doing it. There's only so many, isn't there? It was thinking, wasn't it? That's what I thought about the spider, because I was doing this when I was watching for the film. I was always doing. It was when you're thinking about something, so that's what I figured when it was tapping its thing. It was thinking. What are you thinking? I'm thinking. Right, there we go. I'm going to drink my coffee in peace. Let's see what today brings.